think that because they are not releasing everything that Congress and the president signed to say you have to release this in 30 days, doesn't it give more fodder for the conspiracies that exist? I mean, they're not following the law.
Well, look, they've released how many documents tonight? 200,000? More? 400?
10% of that.
Okay, so a good faith effort is being made to release files tonight.
Really?
They're obviously doing that. And I think as it relates to redactions, I mean, my impression is that there's a whole lot of names of victims in there and minors and other people that you probably wouldn't want to release, and they do need to be redacted. Regarding Bill Clinton, I'm sorry to tell you, the reason that Bill Clinton's picture is in the Epstein files is because this has always been a story about Bill Clinton and not Donald Trump. We should call it the Clinton files, not the Epstein files. That's what we're learning tonight. This is the Clinton files. This is the blowing up in the face of the Democrats over this. It's Bill Clinton. This is a story about Democrats and Bill Clinton, and it's always been that way. We should call it the Clinton files, not.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. So, whether it's true or not, we should find out, right? But my thing is this. We've been all saying it. Why didn't Joe Biden's administration drop this bombshell of Epstein files when Joe Biden was in office? Why not? Every time this question was asked to any Democrat, to anybody associated with Joe Biden's administration or the Democratic Party in general, they don't have anything. The fact of the matter is that they have been going after Donald Trump for years. You think if they had a smoking gun of Donald Trump doing anything that had to do with pedophilia, they wouldn't have dropped it, especially during the election going up against Kamala Harris? It doesn't make sense to me. So all of these, so now the files are being dropped. It's a drove of it being dropped. Hundreds of thousands of files, pictures, all types of stuff, right? But it's still not good enough. Oh, everybody is alluding to Donald Trump taking himself out of the files. But just today, there was Donald Trump's names in the files. So how is he or is he not taking himself out of the files? Now, this is my thing with this Jeffrey Epstein thing. When are we going to get into the meat and potatoes of all of this, right? Because all of the things associated with Donald Trump have been pretty much pure speculation and not factual, right? We know that Donald Trump had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So did Bill Clinton. So did Obama. So did a lot of celebrities. Because Jeffrey Epstein was in that world. He had money. He was a millionaire. He was associated with government, possibly. All we know is that Jeffrey Epstein was in the mix with a lot of people. He was a businessman also. Donald Trump did business with Jeffrey Epstein. Allegedly, he cut him off in 2004. That's what he said. That's what other people have said. So that was 21 years ago that he cut Jeffrey Epstein off. We know for sure, for a fact, that Democrats have been dealing with Jeffrey Epstein way after that, in 2018. Trying to do what? Trying to get Trump. Trying to use Jeffrey Epstein to get Trump. So my thing is, me using my brain, right? I'm just thinking that there's not really much as far as when you associate pedophilia and Epstein, right, with Donald Trump. The same way as probably with a lot of the people that were in pictures with him also. That's why Donald Trump said that, a lot of people are going to be mad that these files are dropping and pictures are being shown to the public of people like Chris Tucker, Michael Jackson, um, Mick Jagger, all of these different people that took pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. Does that mean that Chris Tucker was doing pedophilia things? No, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of annoying because I'm gonna play a few things. I want to get into this CNN clip because this is this stuff that they do because it's not about truth. It's not about getting justice for the victims. It's just about making Donald Trump look bad. That's it. That's all it's about. It's all it's about. Nothing more, nothing less, right? So we're gonna get to the CNN clip. Then we're gonna get into we're gonna tap in with Liberal High Mind. He goes over this so-called letter that was written to I forget the guy's name. Oh my God, it's right there. Anyway, a letter that was written to this guy, and allegedly it was about Trump, right? But we'll get into that. Then we're gonna tap in with Anton Daniels, basically giving his input on this whole thing, and he made some great points that I want to get into too. And then we're gonna end the show with going over this a little bit of, we're not gonna play the whole thing, but Lisa Phillips, one of the Epstein survivors, and I just want to point some things out about this interview. She did a few of them with this podcast. I don't know if it's her podcast, if she's a co-host or what, but all I know is she did multiple appearances on this specific podcast talking about this whole Epstein thing. And I just want to point out some things that she said in my point of view on her as one of the Epstein survivors, right? But before we get into all of this, man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. You hear me? Let's get straight into it, man.
Justice Department has now released a big new batch of documents in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, and these include new details about Epstein's one-time friendship with President Trump. Look, there is a lot to go through. We said it's like more than 10,000 pages, so we are digging through this, but this is what is seen so far. In a 2020 email, an assistant U.S. District of New York wrote that Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet, quote, more times than previously has been reported, at least 8 times between 1993 and 96. And on a flight in 1993, according to the email, there was just 3 passengers, Trump, Epstein, and what's described as a 20-year-old woman. Being mentioned in a trove of investigatory documents does not demonstrate criminal wrongdoing, a reminder, and Trump has not been accused of being involved in Epstein's crimes. On Monday, the president did seem dismayed that the release of any and all of these...
Yo, just hold on real quick. My whole thing is listen to this report and just look at how they're portraying this whole thing when all it really is Donald Trump on Epstein's jet. You know, we don't know if it went to the island. We don't know any of that. They don't even say any of that. All they say is that Donald Trump was on a jet with Jeffrey Epstein. That's the bombshell. They said they got all... Just listen to this, bro. This is crazy.
These files, though, could harm the reputations of individuals he said, quote, innocently met Epstein. Now, remember, he is the man they also signed into law last month, a measure requiring the Justice Department to do just this, release the files.
A lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin the reputation of somebody.
As we speak, CNN has a team working through the documents just released. We are going to bring you the findings as they come in. CNN's Caitlin Polans is live in Washington this morning. A lot to work through, and we're just getting started. Caitlin, what do you have so far?
We're just getting started, but the headline here is quite clear. Donald Trump is all over these documents. In that first trove...
Now, look, she said Donald Trump is all over these documents.
that the Justice Department released on Friday. There were just a few very scant mentions of Trump, including in a picture collected with a bunch of other pictures. In this one, there is already one very illuminating email that was sent.
She says it's one, not 10, not 30, not 50, one illuminating email.
During the first presidency of Donald Trump, while prosecutors in the Southern District of New York were working on the case against Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, this is after Epstein's death, and one of those prosecutors writes, I'm going to read from this letter because it is what was new to the prosecutors at the time and what is new to us now, receiving these documents now in the public sphere from the Justice Department. The prosecutor, unnamed, an assistant U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York, wrote on January 8th of 2020.
My bad. Unnamed prosecutor.
The flight records we received yesterday reflect that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported or that we were aware. That's the Justice Department in 2020, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. On one flight in 1993, Donald Trump and Epstein are the only two passengers listed. On another, the only three passengers are Epstein, Trump, and a then 20-year-old. On two other flights, two of the passengers respectively were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. And then the assistant U.S. attorney concludes this email by telling his or her supervisors or superiors in the Justice Department didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. That's a direct quote. Now, Donald Trump, he has not commented yet on this particular revelation in the Epstein files coming out overnight and this morning that we are now surfacing for you here. But Donald Trump has downplayed his relationship with Epstein in the past. And of course, this is something that is documenting his connection to Epstein, traveling on that private plane in the 90s. So many years ago, Kate. But Trump even yesterday was saying that everyone was friendly with Epstein. He was all over Palm Beach. And Ghislaine Maxwell, this past year, has said in an interview with the Justice Department talking about Trump that she never saw him do anything.
So hold on. So the woman who was convicted of trafficking kids, Ghislaine Maxwell, said that she never seen Trump do anything. She never seen Trump do anything. Ghislaine Maxwell obviously was, I don't know if she was like in a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein or they were just super close. I'm not really sure about that. But they were super close. So where's the illumination at? That he was on flights with Jeffrey Epstein? Notice, right? A bombshell would have been Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein's jet to Epstein's island. That would have been more of a bombshell than Trump on a flight with Jeffrey Epstein. Trump admitted to doing business with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's not like shocking. That's not a bombshell. But notice how they put this garbage out here, because this is the thing, because this is all they want. You see a picture, right? They showed a picture with Donald Trump with his arms around. I don't know if that's his kids or who they are, but they could just be his kids. Like, they could be somebody that's close. But they put these pictures out there to give the perception that Donald Trump is a creep. Oh, he's this, he's that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this. I don't know whether he is or not. I don't know, right? We'll find out if that ever comes to the light. But the facts of the matter is that nothing yet that we have seen in these files have alluded to Donald Trump being a part of what Jeffrey Epstein had going on. If anything, it's actually the opposite. So
that wasn't gentlemanly, that was any sort of impropriety at all. That said, this is a document that shows the possibility of Donald Trump having an intersection with Ghislaine Maxwell and the criminal case against her in which she was convicted for sex trafficking of minors. Clearly, this did not come out in the trial, but it is a pretty revelatory document. And Kate, it's just one page right now. This is the one page that I've walked you through. There are many, many more documents that we are piecing through this morning to see what else may be news here. But Donald Trump is in the latest batch of the Epstein files.
Yeah, much more to come as Caitlin's laying out.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's garbage. It's straight garbage. Nothing she said was bombshell, number one. But that's what they do. They allude to these things. They mix, like, the truth with, speculation. In the Democrats' cases, most of the time, they mix the truth with lies. You know what I'm saying? So what she said might have been true about him being on flights. That's like not a bombshell, because they were friends at one point. You've seen them in videos together. You've seen them in pictures together, smiling. They obviously were friends at one point. But just because they were friends, so he's guilty by association, like, what are we talking about? Now, this is my thing, right? We have not heard not one victim, and we're gonna play a victim. Now, one victim say Donald Trump has did anything to me. I haven't seen it yet. If you've seen it, please send it to me so I can play it and expose Donald Trump, right? But I haven't seen that yet, right? But I have heard in a tape from Virginia Giuffre verbatim say two names, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, was on Epstein's island. She was not like, it wasn't speculation. She didn't say, I think it was them. I seen them from afar. No, she said Bill Gates and Barack Obama. Bill Gates, also Bill Clinton is in way more pictures than Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. He is seen in hot tubs and all of this stuff. Like, my thing is this. Why is nobody, and they aren't trying to talk about Bill Clinton. That's why I played it in the intro, because Scott Jennings was right. This ain't about Trump. And that's the reason, but that's what they're trying to make it. It's really a case about Bill Clinton, to be honest with you, because we see Bill Clinton in these files in a negative light, though. Not kind of like how Donald Trump is being portrayed, like, oh, they were, associated or whatever the case may be. No, they were directly named. Bill Gates was directly named. Obama was directly named. But none of them want to talk about that. Specifically on that CNN panel, when Scott Jennings did say, when he made that statement that he made, they all were saying, we're not talking about Bill Clinton right now. He's not the president, like as if that matters. But yet they all claim that it doesn't matter whether they're Democrats or Republicans, they need to be held accountable. But yet I hear none of them speaking about Barack Obama being named by Virginia Giuffre. I don't hear none of them talking about Bill Gates being named by Virginia Giuffre. We don't hear none of that. We seen also Stacey Placid texting with Jeffrey Epstein, talking to Trump's former attorney, trying to get Trump. So it's a fact that Jeffrey Epstein hated Trump just as much as Trump hated Epstein at some point. At some point they were friends. At some point they weren't. I just don't get it. That's all I'm saying. Like the I don't see what other people are claiming to see. Right? Trump dropped the files. He made it clear that things will be redacted for the safety of victims and, people that just had nothing to do with it. But he still dropped, like I said, I seen Chris Tucker in one of them, Mick Jagger. We seen different people in the pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. But I'm not like, oh, Chris Tucker is a pedophile because he was in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, come on, bro. But my thing is this too. Where is the list? You have real live victims out there. They all actually not too long ago, on my thumbnail is a picture from when they spoke not too long ago, talking about how they need justice and whatnot. My thing is this: why aren't y'all naming these people? Y'all are victims. Y'all literally were there on the island. You know what I mean? Like, y'all were taken advantage of. Why aren't y'all naming these names? It's like a show, bro. It's a show. Anyway, let's get into this next accusation with liberal high mind.
Folks, so we've got a massive bombshell here. Oh, it's the smoking gun that Democrats were looking for. Yeah, I'm sure you can sense the sarcasm in my voice. It's nothing of the sort. It's once again a complete frickin' joke. Let me pull this post up here on screen. Eric Doherty actually did a great job breaking it down. Here it is. He writes, breaking, major fake news operation by Democrats all over X regarding Trump and Epstein, debunked by the DOJ. Liberals have been posting a, quote, letter supposedly implicating Trump in the Epstein crimes. Let me first show you that letter. This was allegedly written by Jeffrey Epstein from his prison cell before he died. It says, Dear LN, as you know by now, I have taken the short route home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope that they'd reach their full potential. Our president also shares our love of young, nubile girls. When a
Yo, let's be honest, bro. Whether you was convicted, right, and sentenced downstate, down federal prison, whatever, who is going to write a letter this detail about something they may have been doing? What? No, nobody's doing this, bro. Hey, yo, I just wanted to let you know I got 6 bricks of cocaine in the back laundry room, right in the wall. Like, you'll see it. Like, just go in there and grab the 6 bricks. It's 6 of them in there. Like, fuck.
Young beauty walked by, he loved to, quote, grab snatch, whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system. Life is unfair. Yours, Jeffrey Epstein. And now, of course, the left is pushing this. Oh, it's the smoking gun. This is the proof. Another vague letter supposedly written by Jeffrey Epstein. But again, I said supposedly written by Jeffrey Epstein because, well, you could imagine, according to the DOJ, the entire letter is fabricated. Take a look at the response here from the U.S. Department of Justice. The FBI has confirmed that this alleged letter from Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Nassar is fake. The fake letter was received by the jail and flagged for the FBI at the time. The FBI made this conclusion based on the following facts. The writing does not appear to match Jeffrey Epstein's. The letter was also postmarked 3 days after Epstein's death out of Northern Virginia when he was jailed in New York. The return address also did not list the jail where Epstein was held and did not include his inmate number, which is required for outgoing mail.
Now, look, I can speak to that because I was in prison. That's a fact. When you write letters and send them out, you have to have your full name and your inmate number. That is a fact. That is a fact. So this is a fake. This is not a smoking gun. This is a cap gun.
Fake letter serves as a reminder that just because a document is released by the Department of Justice does not make the allegations or claims within the document factual. Nevertheless, the DOJ will continue to release all material required by law. So, of course, that was the information that was released with the letter, but the Democrats don't give a crap. And so they've been posting this all over social media, making all kinds of slanderous allegations, all of it based on a lie. Another fake news operation, a coordinated flood of innuendo. Once again, the Democrats exposed themselves. It is becoming increasingly obvious, as if it wasn't obvious enough, the Democrats don't give a crap about Epstein's victims. They don't give a crap about human trafficking, these vile crimes against underage people. No, it's all politics. It's all about getting Donald Trump. That's been the only purpose of Epstein since day one. That's why they tried weaponizing their relationship with him. They turned a blind eye to the horrendous crimes that he was engaging in and rather wanted to use him as a political weapon against the president. I think we're...
Now tell me if everything he just said isn't a fact. It's a fact. They don't care. That's why I literally was just going back and forth with somebody, on the phone. My son's grandpa, right? He always be like, oh, you still fucking with Trump and this, that, and third. So he was going back and forth with me about Donald Trump, and I'm like, listen, dude, I don't really care about Donald Trump. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about the fact that there was Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. They were the 2 candidates. Regardless of how you feel and I feel about neither one of them were going to be the president. And I was not voting for Kamala Harris. So it was Donald Trump. Now, when we just get down to the nitty gritty, I looked into things that were said about Donald Trump, like the Russia hoax, the Fine People hoax. That's just 2 out of many things that Democrats and the Democrat media lied about Donald Trump, right? You could go on the photos they said with kids in cages. They were pictures of Obama's administration. Little shit like Donald Trump didn't respect the one of the foreign leaders. He ain't have his headphones on whole time. He got it in his ear. They just continue to make up shit about Donald Trump. So how can I believe anything that these people say? That's my take on it. Listen, Donald Trump has even said that he don't even think he going to heaven. He said, I don't think, the big guy is going to let me in because he know he ain't like this perfect guy. He know he done did shit that, he probably would do different. I believe we all probably have, right? So they're trying to hold like Donald Trump to this standard as a president when literally every president that I've, had some information about since Nixon or even before Nixon have all been in some type of bullshit. Watergate, Travelgate, like it's just they all have some shit with them. Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, they all have some shit with them. They're not perfect. They're humans. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're trying to hold Donald Trump to the fire on speculation. That's it. Speculation. It's not factual evidence that has came out making Donald Trump like an accessory to what Jeffrey Epstein was into. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, it's the opposite. I've seen the lawyer for the victims say that Donald Trump was very helpful. Information that he gave us checked out. I've seen that. I've seen actual victims like Virginia Giuffre say, I've never seen Donald Trump do anything. He was always a gentleman. Even the lady on CNN on the panel even alluded to that. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, they don't care about these victims. They don't. They don't. If they cared about these victims, Stacey Placid, Hakeem Jeffries wouldn't have been trying to get money from them. The Democrats wouldn't have been associated with Jeffrey Epstein at all. But see, they were. Why? Because they wanted to try to get Donald Trump. That's it. They don't care about, bro, they don't care about these victims. You think they care about these victims? You think they care about you? No. And this goes for a lot of Republicans too. But I do believe more Republicans give a fuck about this country than Democrats do. I don't think it's not a single Democrat. Maybe no, let me take that back. Maybe the senator in Pennsylvania. I don't know why his name slipped in my mind. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But there's probably some good Democrats, some good Republicans. But we know that the government overall is saturated with a bunch of fraud, waste, abuse, bullshit, liars, just politicians being politicians. And we know politicians are snakes, dog. That's just a fact. I don't care what nobody's talking about. I have no trust and faith in the government to keep me safe. Nothing. Like, look at the shit they're doing to the food. You know what I mean? Like, the medication, just like, I know by, come on, it's 2025, bro. I know they got a fucking cure for cancer and all of this shit, but they don't care about you. They don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they come on, bro. Stop, man. Government is a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to right now in 2025, I see Donald Trump doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, inflation just came in under 3%. It was 2.7. They were all on the joint. Oh, it's going to be at 3%. The GDP was good. Most of the things that they're complaining about and saying it's going to be horrible, the stock market's going to crash, it's going to be a recession. It's none of that. So how can I believe these people that say anything? Anyway, let's hear a little bit more of this, thinking to this next video with Anton Daniels.
Starting to paint a little bit of a broader pattern here, because now obviously this latest fake news drop and push, well, it's not a one-off. It's a whole ecosystem of lies and innuendo. A couple weeks ago was the claim that in 2017, Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein. That was a lie. We've got all these AI-generated photos of Donald Trump and Epstein that the Democrats are flooding the internet with, not to mention the phony redactions of Virginia Giuffre's name. It's been lie and manipulation after lie and manipulation. And the Democrats are wondering why their approval rating is sitting at 18%. Well, it's because you guys are full of and everybody sees it. And it's not just us. No, it's even your own media shills on MSNBC. Even Joe Scarborough, massive Trump-hating Democrat on MSNBC. And don't start with, oh, Joe Scarborough's a Republican. No, he is not. He's a Democrat propagandist shill. But even he refuses to go there.
We've had reporting for some time. Donald Trump is not on Epstein's list. There's nothing in there that's really damning about Donald Trump.
They've got absolutely nothing. And yet they just
And
will.
this is Morning Joe saying this. He hates Donald Trump. He always got something negative to say about Donald Trump. And trust me, bro, if there was this smoking gun, a real thing connecting him, and he even said it, he just said it, it's nothing really connecting him to the bullshit. That's the thing. Is Donald Trump connected to Jeffrey Epstein as far as association? Duh. Everybody knows that. That's not a smoking gun, bro. You know what I mean? So him being on flights with Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that, that's not crazy, bro.
Not give up. And it's extra despicable considering the file here. This Epstein file is no joke. It shouldn't be political, it shouldn't be partisan. Both parties should be working together to get to the truth, to uncover what actually happened here. But nope, the entire effort is one big anti-Trump conspiracy. It's disgusting.
Yeah, shout out to Liberal High Mind, man. Y'all go tap in. Let's get into this next joint with Anton Daniels, giving his perspective on this whole situation.
Yes, Senator Kaine, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you, Kristen. Thanks.
It's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to start by getting your reaction to what you just heard from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. He says the delay in releasing all the documents was necessary to conduct a thorough review to protect the survivors, he says. Do you trust that the Department of Justice is complying with the law here?
I wish I could say yes, but I don't, Kristen. And so let's just review. Jeffrey Epstein was a monster who trafficked underage women. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein knew one another pretty well. The circumstances of that friendship and how it broke up are disputed, but they knew each other. When Donald Trump was president, he put into his cabinet the prosecutor who cut the sweetheart deal with Jeffrey Epstein.
I want to make sure that I'm playing this from both lenses. So you're going to get it on NBC News, and then you're going to get the Fox News version, and then we're going to give our conclusion. So I want to make sure that y'all know why I use multiple sources to compare and contrast.
Back during the Bush administration, he put Alex Acosta in his cabinet. Acosta later had to resign in disgrace. As a candidate, Donald Trump said he would release the Epstein files. As president now in February of 2025, he said, we're going to release the files. And he had this much touted event with Pam Bondi at the White House talking about releasing the files. But then in July, the FBI and DOJ said,
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. He released the files within a year of him actually being in office.
there's nothing to see here. We're not going to release any more files. The statute that we're now talking about was not something that the White House wanted. It was something that a bipartisan Congress did to force Donald Trump's hand, to force him to meet his promises. And so in September, we passed this Transparency Act, forcing the DOJ, kicking and screaming, they didn't want to do it, to release files. So when they actually do release files, and it's a fraction of what's available, and it's heavily redacted, and then a day later they pull material back, the facts that I've just laid out for you show why so many people are really suspicious. All these files need to come out.
Well, so here's my question again, and I'm going to ask this every time that I see a Democrat use the same talking point. Here's my first question. Why would Trump, A, offer to release the files, even as a candidate, if in any way, shape, or form, he had did something that was crazy in those files? Neither here nor there. Why don't any Democrat talk about Biden?
Hold on. And to what he's saying, that's true. Donald Trump said he would release the files. He didn't have no problem releasing the files when he was running. Before he even became president, he said this. So if I'm running, right, and I'm in the Epstein files in a way that's not going to make me look good whatsoever, probably ruin everything for me, possibly get me locked up, why would I even allude to dropping them? For what? Why would I do that? That's a good point.
Y'all were in office over the last 4 years, and I know why, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Y'all were in office over the last 4 years. Nobody, and I mean nobody, asked Biden, Kamala Harris, or any Democrat whatsoever to ever release a file.
That's a fact.
Even a little bit. Not even a smidget. Not even a release. We never ever had this conversation at all while Biden was in office. We didn't even.
That's a fact, bro. And on top of that, even with like affordability, nobody was complaining about prices when Joe Biden was in office.
We never, ever, 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 ever at any point asked the Biden administration to release anything whatsoever. And as bad as they were after Trump, they could have handpicked some files and was like, hey, listen, this is how Trump was tied to Epstein. They wanted Trump to go down so bad that they was willing to put their best. Letitia James, Fani Willis, they made up some stuff about some files being at Mar-a-Lago and all of this stuff. 100%. Now, the person that we see the most in these files is none other than Bill Clinton, but we'll get there.
Congressman Rowe comment and Thomas Massie, as I was just saying, who led the push to release the files, say they're looking at options including impeachment and contempt for DOJ. Let me ask you about what we have seen released in the Epstein files so far. Former President Bill Clinton is featured prominently in the first batch, as I was just discussing. Now, to be very clear, and
boy, these is blood brothers right there. Brothers from another mother. Whenever you rocking out like this, you brothers from another mother, baby.
ABC News does not know the full context behind these images, and simply being in the Epstein files doesn't imply any criminal wrongdoing. But does Clinton owe the public an explanation about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
You know, I actually haven't tracked what President Clinton has said. And if there are unanswered questions, you know, he should address them, and I suspect he will. But let's just make sure that we meet the promise that President Trump made as a candidate.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing, bro. Like, you see how they try to skirt around the question. Bro, it's a fact that Bill Clinton is in them files more than Donald Trump. And, you know, you see Donald Trump, like, you know, them just in the middle of the street, picture, Donald Trump scene with some girls from a commercial. Like, you see Bill Clinton in the hot tub. You like see Bill Clinton like really in the mix with him. You know what I'm saying? You seen the video of Donald Trump when NBC shot a party I think Donald Trump was throwing, and Jeffrey Epstein came and all of that stuff. So, bro,
I want y'all to see what's happening.
Yeah.
She specifically asked him a question and said, should President Clinton answer for because Clinton is in that bitch. Like, yeah. he was in there. He in the pool.
Yeah.
He taking pictures with the people. He got a chick that's allegedly sitting on his lap. He got all of this. Why are they deflecting?
Even if that's a grown woman, Hillary Clinton is his wife. So, like, they don't want to talk about any of this. Even, like, my thing is this. They want to deflect. They want to make every single conversation associated with Jeffrey Epstein about Donald Trump. That's it. Anybody else get mentioned, when Hakeem got mentioned, because he was in the files when Stacey Plaskett got mentioned. They propped her up on MSNBC or CNN, one of them shows, and let her talk about how it wasn't really nothing, and try to save her fucking career. But bro, these people are fucking, yeah, they're crazy, bro.
Why are they deflecting? Clinton is all over that. He was letting niggas take photos, pictures. Wasn't even on camera phones back then. They was taking regular photos.
Polaroids.
Click, 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 click. And he was like, yo, what up, though?
Red as hell. You could tell he was drunk.
Why is nobody calling for Clinton to speak to this shit? Why is nobody calling this? How is and this is why you can't take Senator Tim Kaine in Virginia, at his word. You can't take him at his word anymore because he just completely deflected from the situation. Let me rewind it for you.
I actually haven't tracked what President Clinton has said.
You haven't tracked what Clinton has said at all. Okay. All right, cool.
And if there are unanswered questions, he should address them, and I suspect he will. But let's just make sure that we meet the promise that President Trump made as a candidate that all these files will be released. Let's put all the facts and all the material out on the table, and then folks can reach their own judgments about anybody connected with this horrible, horrible case. I led the effort to try to deny Secretary of Labor.
Let's switch over real quick. We want to go over to Fox and get their perspective really quickly.
The Justice Department says it will continue to release more of the Epstein files on a rolling basis, blaming any delays on releasing all of the files on the time-consuming process of.
Hey, yo, after this, I played this on a previous joint, but I want to go and show you the Dead Man Switch recording that Virginia Giuffre had. And why isn't anybody talking about this? And I'm going to play it just as a follow-up because of all of this stuff, all of these speculation and accusations, but in speculation. Excuse me. I'm going to show you actual recording of Virginia Giuffre saying that Bill Gates and Obama was on the island, not on the jet.
Obscuring victims' names and other identifying information. For reaction to that and much more, Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is in Florida covering the president. Hello, Lucas.
Shannon, at least 16 files have disappeared from the Justice Department's website related to Jeffrey Epstein, including a photo of President Donald Trump one day after they were posted. It's photos of a former president that's getting a lot of attention right now.
Newly released photos from the Justice Department show Bill Clinton.
Bill is chilling, bro. Bill is chilling. And guess what? Guess what's going to happen to Bill?
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Bill Clinton.
He's too old to stand
who
trial.
They think President Trump is. Bill Clinton is who they trying to paint Trump to be. Bill is really the mafia boss, bro. If we really just want to get into it. Bill Clinton is he big dog. That's big dog. That's the ringleader. That's the kingpin. That's the person that was cutting all of the deals behind the scenes. All of that, bro. Bill Clinton is who they trying to make Trump be. And I don't see nobody, not a Democrat, not a black person, not a white person. I went on TikTok. I rarely go on TikTok unless I'm looking at a video that y'all sent me inside of the, in my email to react to. I went on TikTok, bro, and I just searched and I said, Bill Clinton, Epstein. And I went through and it was hardly no conversations that was being had at the time. This is over the weekend. More importantly, I seen no black people. Zero, zilch, nada. What is our affinity to Bill Clinton? Why do we like Bill so much?
He's a Democrat.
Why do we like Bill so much?
He's
Don't y'all know that Bill did one of the worst con jobs on the black community ever? ever, ever, ever. We talk about, all of a sudden, we talking about fuck the streets. And that's the thing that's trending with amongst black people. They released the Epstein files, and we still talking about Charlie Kirk. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is having a deep dive about Bill Clinton. And I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with it. What is going on? What is happening? Shit, he was getting head in the White House. They tried to give us Hillary. Where the fuck was Hillary when Bill was over there chilling with Epstein? That's what I want to know. Because you can't tell me that she didn't know.
She was with him.
Is she his Ghislaine Maxwell? Why Hillary just rolling with it? You know what I'm saying? She ain't never said nothing. They never had nothing to say. They was just like, skip it. You know what we gonna do though? We gonna try to make you president of the United States of America. Y'all not asking no questions. Y'all not confused. Y'all not trying to figure it out. Y'all not a little bit curious. None of this shit. The only thing that we concerned about is whether or not Trump released him as soon as we wanted him to.
That's a fact.
You know why? Nobody's looking at Michael Jackson and having a conversation and saying, hey man, this nigga already got accused of being Peter Pan around the kiddies, right? And even though they never said that they convicted him, what is this nigga doing hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? How was he over there? Why is white Mike over there? That's not even black Mike. That's white Mike.
hey yo, Anton stupid. Yo, he's stupid for that. Yo, hold on real quick. Let me pull this joint up real quick. Hold on. Cause this is like the one thing. Like he's right, bro. They ain't talking about this shit. Now let me go to the end because it was at the end. Here it go. Hold on. All right.
And they're doing this strictly for the purpose of dominating the news cycle. Now, here's the clip of Virginia Giuffre. Listen to this because it's heart-wrenching, but check this out.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch activated automatically after I missed 2 scheduled check-ins. I had it set up months ago because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I survived Little St. James, but survival came at a price. I saw too much, knew too much, and now they've silenced me. But it's too late for them. They thought killing me would bury their secrets, but this video is going to a few organizations I trust, ones that have been exposing the truth for decades. You know who you are. It's your job to continue this fight. I was 16 when they reeled me in. I worked at Mar-a-Lago, folding towels, cleaning lockers. My father kept the tennis courts immaculate. We were just working folks trying to scrape by. Trump, he was around, but he was never the threat. The real predator was Ghislaine Maxwell, prim and proper, smiling, promising to teach me massage therapy at the Pink Mansion in Palm Beach. I had no idea I was being...
So real quick, she said Donald Trump wasn't a threat. She said Ghislaine Maxwell was the real threat.
...fed into a nightmare machine. Epstein's Island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. I'll name 2 now. The first, a former U.S. president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys. Young boys, trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk.
So she named Barack Obama, George Clooney, Tom Hanks.
On power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second, Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor, and we used to dread seeing him naked. But he didn't come to party. He came to experiment. Genetic experiments, human experiments.
Now, I'm going to end that with that, right? Now, that's the thing. She named numerous names. People can sit there and say, oh, that's AI. But it sounds just like too right. You know, all the gay stuff, all the homosexual stuff associated with Barack Obama. And she says that he was there for the Island Boys, right? Then she says that Bill Gates was there for some experimental shit, right? I've showed, and you go to my shorts, I've showed the joint where on the TED Talk he was talking about vaccines and reproductive health. So that's not like crazy to think that he was there on some crazy scientist shit. You know what I'm saying? But bro, all I'm saying is this stuff is out there. It should at minimum be investigated and looked at, you know, to see is these accusations true or not, right? I mean, she was a victim. She was named. She was recently named in that email, one of the first emails they dropped not too long ago. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is this: you can't sit here and not be you know, like keep everything on the same playing field. If you're gonna, everybody is holding Trump to the fire about this whole Epstein thing just for being associated with Epstein, but yet you have Virginia Giuffre, who was a victim. I think maybe the only victim that I seen, because I didn't look into all the victims, you know, but the only one that I heard of that actually named Barack Obama, Bill Gates, George Clooney, Tom Hanks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, man. And these are all people who publicly hate Trump. They all publicly hate Trump, including Jeffrey Epstein. So, hey, man. Anyway, let's get into this next segment with Lisa Phillips on this legal AF podcast she was on.
Well, you said it right when you said this is a cover.
Yo, hold on. First of all, I want to lay some groundwork with this because understand she is a victim, a survivor, somebody that was there, right? She's seen things, heard things, know who these people are allegedly who did these things. So,
Cover up on a cover up on a cover up. I don't know. As soon as you said that, it just says it's so true because we're just getting little trickles of information. We're getting teased. It's just theatrics. Like, we don't know. I mean, we're just scrambling all day long between the survivor community and the people that we work with and our attorneys. Just so much information coming forward that's like shocking, but like, we want this information to come forward because it's how we connect the dots and it's how we as survivors come together as a community and we make things happen. That the DOJ just isn't they're just not doing their job and making things happen for us to get full answers. And so, like you said, with Maria Farmer, the records show that Maria Farmer, she worked for Epstein. She filed a child pornography report to the FBI in 1996. It's been almost 30 years. And that report, that's like a win for the survivors because that validates for her mostly that, you know, she was trying to, you know, tell the FBI what was going on between these two. She felt like there was something weird going on from what she was seeing. And It makes me upset just because, like, if the FBI had followed up on it and investigated properly, then maybe some of these hundreds of survivors wouldn't have been abused, including myself.
I was going to
here.
say, what year were you abused by Epstein?
Well, it was in 2000 that I met Epstein, and
This is
those are
4
the
years
prime
later.
years.
Yeah.
Those are the prime years from 1996, I would say, to about 2006. Those are the prime years of abuse. And if they had just followed up on this report that Maria made in 1996, or they followed up on it, they found out who was involved and they protected them back then.
Well, that's that.
Like, am I tripping? Like, am I bugging, bro? Am I bugging? She's a victim. But she's talking about this as if she's reporting on it. Like she's trying to find the facts to the case. What? I'm just trying to understand. You're not reporting on it. You're a victim. You were there. You know what's going on. Why is she talking like she wasn't there? I don't know, bro. And then she's saying the community, and it's like, it's for me, bro. It's just like, are you on TV trying to get some fame, some notoriety, drop some books, and like trying to get some paper out of this situation? Or are you truly a victim? Like, I just don't understand. And like, I just seen people say, you know, they're making it. They got all of these survivors to get up on the what's the name and do all of this hoorah shit. But none of them drop no names. None of them. You're talking about you need the how do you need the DOJ to hold people accountable for you? I'm just saying. How? You're a victim. You should know exactly who is who, and you should put it out there. It shouldn't be a secret. I don't understand. That's all I'm saying. Like, the way she's talking about this, it just makes me just like uncomfortable. Like, I want to believe it, but it's a part of me that's just like, it's so many women. I mean, look what just happened to Talia James. Like, you know, so many women who make these claims, and it just don't be true, bro. I'm just saying, it doesn't take away from victims that obviously, come on, bro. Obviously, this dude, Jeffrey Epstein, definitely was a creep and did bullshit. I'm not disputing that. But come on, bro. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping, bro.
You're right. There's only two versions of that story. Both of them are terrible for different reasons.
And like, you see how he said, he asked her about her situation. Like, when were you abused? And then she like went rape. Like, look, watch. Let's go back real quick.
2006. Those are the prime
abused by Epstein.
Well, it was in 2000 that I met Epstein, and those are
4
the
years
prime
later.
years.
Yeah.
Those are the prime years from 1996, I would say, to about 2006. Those are the prime years of abuse. And if they had just followed up on this report that Maria made in 1996, or they followed up on it, they found out who was involved and they protected them back then.
Well, that's that. You're right. There's only two versions of that story. Both of them are terrible for different reasons. And I always said, and I fast forwarded it to 2007, 2008. And I said, when he was protected, obviously, with a sweetheart deal by the Southern District of Florida and Alex Acosta, who eventually became Donald Trump's labor secretary, who gave him that rap on the knuckles in a short stint in jail for soliciting a minor prostitute, which makes the victim actually some sort of aggressor. The minor prostitute? You mean he raped a girl?
Exactly. It's her fault. It's her fault.
It's her fault. A state charge. I said, and that's all he got. How many victims after 2007? Forget that. Let's go back to Maria Farmer, 1996. Let me read it to our audience. We'll put it up on the split screen. This document that's now part of the Epstein production, front and back in the
and
handwriting.
after she filed that, he threatened her.
Right.
And it was a serious thing back then.
That absolutely.
That's what made her go, wait a second. I just thought maybe it was this little, child pornography thing. You stole our pictures and you sold them. It was, it's a fact they sold those pictures to buyers. And then he threatened her after that. So she knew and has been fighting since because she was aware, whoa, this is a lot bigger than we thought.
This is what the actual document says. It says Jeffrey Epstein carried. You just said I'm reading it. Whatever that means, from Robert Garcia, the ranking Democratic member of the House Oversight Committee, to the Department of Justice's acting Inspector General. Why don't you tell our audience what Representative Garcia is seeking in this new letter?
Well, you're seeing that there are people that are standing up for us, and there are people that are saying, wait a second, what's going on here? DOJ is releasing these pictures and things, and they're thinking they're being clever by not releasing too much. But if you connect the dots of what was going on and released back then, that's why Garcia is saying, wait a second, none of this is adding up. This was reported back then. We need answers of why you didn't follow up on it.
Yeah, and there is actually what I refer.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I can't watch this. This is garbage. I'm sorry to say it, bro. I know she alleges that she's a victim, and if so, I don't wish that on no female. I'm just saying that I can't respect a person who claims to be a survivor, but yet you're not exposing the people who are involved in this situation. But yet you get on here and you want to try to make it seem like Trump is not doing what I don't understand. Joe Biden had the files for 4 years. And even if you say, well, Ghislaine Maxwell was on trial, they couldn't release him, he had a whole year to do so. And during that year was when Donald Trump was running to be the president and would have been the prime time to release the files with him on them. So this is why I can't get with this whole Epstein and Trump thing. Because I know it's just political. It's politics. Nobody has yet been named as a person that, it's all speculation with this whole Trump and Epstein thing. That's all I'm saying. It's just like pictures and stuff, and then everybody is making their own theories. It's like this one big conspiracy. I'm just starting to believe that this is just a smoke and mirror, bro. This is just some shit that just calls a bunch of bullshit to keep people away from specific real stories that's going on out here, bro. Like, that's all I see. I can't, because I don't see anything that is like, yo, I can't believe that shit. Even with, the biggest thing that I've heard was from Virginia Giuffre saying and naming Barack Obama and Bill Gates. And then she threw George Clooney and Tom Hanks in there also. But she literally named these people. Outside of that, with these files and all of this stuff, it's redactions in there. It's a bunch of speculation, a bunch of, flight logs and this log and that log. We still haven't seen a list, if there's a list. So it's just like, I don't know, but this stuff is just weird. I wanted to get on here because I was debating with my son's grandpa, and he claims he's not a Democrat, I guess, but he's a hardcore Democrat. He hates Trump. He doesn't know Trump from a can of paint. I don't know Trump. I would never say I love Trump. What I would say is I fuck with Trump. I do. I fuck with the shit he's doing. He has inflation going down. The GDP look good. Prices going down. Gas $2.77. You know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is Joe Biden ruined the country. Facts. This is not a speculation. He ruined the country. Bunch of Democrats in numerous Democratic states. Bunch of fraud. Even in Republican states. A bunch of fraud. Who is catching this fraud? Trump and his administration. Who said on the campaign trail that they will weed out the fraud, waste, and abuse? Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, who else? Al Gore. All of these people said that they would do it, but who is the one who's doing it? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is exposing all the fraud within inside the government. Donald Trump is trying to get rid of the USAID, the Department of Education, all of these departments that is just a waste. He is the one trying to fix the elections so they can't be rigged. You know what I'm saying? But who's opposing all of these things? Democrats. That's the reason why I support Donald Trump. And that's why I voted for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because he ran on common sense, taking men out of female sports, making it illegal for doctors to do transgender surgeries on children, not adults, on children. That sounds like common sense to me. That's why I voted for Trump. So people can say what they want. They can hate Donald Trump for whatever. You're entitled to that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is, number one, hate is a powerful word. I can't hate the man. I don't know the man. Just don't. I don't like, we're not friends. I don't hate him. I just don't. I don't hate Joe Biden. I don't hate Barack Obama. But to me, they're losers. They never did anything. I just arguing to him about that. Like talking about, I'm like, bro, Donald Trump did more for black people than Barack Obama. When we're just talking about the black community, right? Because he's black, I'm mixed with white also, but I'm black, whatever. That's beside the point. I'm like I said Barack Obama did nothing for black people. He verbatim in a clip when a reporter asked him, why don't you do something specifically for black people? He said, that's not how America works. Turned around and did something strictly for Native Americans. Nothing wrong with that. Strictly for LGBTQ people, you know, all I'm saying is he did nothing for black people. Donald Trump has gave long-term funding to HBCUs. He passed the First Step Act, got people out of prisons. Like, that's just a few things. You know what I'm saying? But that's more than all him, Joe Biden combined. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden passed the 94 crime bill. Mass incarceration of black folks. A known racist. His mentor was a racist. But yet y'all called Donald Trump a racist. When Donald Trump has seen a bunch of cameos on Fresh Prince and a bunch of black artists' songs, everybody was fucking with Donald Trump. Oprah was best friends with Donald Trump. It wasn't until they realized that Donald Trump wasn't going to be a puppet. He wasn't going to go along with the go along. And that's when they decided he is a threat. He is a threat to what they're trying to do, which is ruin the country. And we know that. Why? Because they brought 20 million illegal immigrants in the country to get a new voter base. On the way out, Joe Biden gave through the Department of Energy, I think it was like some crazy amount of money, like 97 million, maybe billion or some shit. I forget the whether it was an M or a B, but either way, just money lost. You know what I'm saying? So much fraud, waste, and abuse inside the government in between the 4 years when Joe Biden was in there. All the money that was given to illegal immigrants when we got homelessness, when we got veterans that's homeless, veterans coming back from war with PTSD and so much more wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you got veterans who getting $23 in food stamps, but yet y'all giving $5,000 to illegal immigrants, bro. Y'all giving free housing to illegal immigrants. That's what Democrats did for America. They gave you illegal immigration. They gave you high gas, high groceries, then turned around when Donald Trump got in office and blamed it all on him. Come on, bro, stop. These people are crazy, bro. I just don't see what people see. And I don't claim to be a scholar in politics. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump did some backdoor deals. He did some shady shit. That's politicians for you. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I know for sure is that the one big beautiful bill about to pass, I'm a 9-to-5 guy. I work. This is my 5 to 9 job. I got a 9 to 5, and this right here is my 5 to 9. And also I cut hair too. I'm a barber. So at the end of the day, he made it to where no tax on overtime, up to $12,500. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to get married. So that number's about to be higher. So that's putting money in my pocket. Joe Biden ain't do that for me. Trump did. And it may be pennies compared to whatever, but hey, it's more money in my pocket when I get my check. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to lower taxes. Kamala Harris was trying to raise taxes. Democrats want to raise your taxes. Look what they doing in Illinois and New York and these other states with the one big beautiful bill passing. They ain't letting you get that. Just think about that, right? It's no tax on overtime, right? Which means you're still paying taxes on your 80 hours. Anything over that, it's no taxes on it up to $12,500 if you're single and more if you're married. New York, Illinois, and a few other Democratic states want to take that from you. Think about that. Just think about that. They're still taxing you. And the little bit of extra money that you make, right? Because just think about it. You might get what? On a great day, you might work 20 hours overtime, on your check. You might work 20 hours. You know what I mean? The average person work, 5 to 10. You know what I'm saying? So they want to even take that from you, bro. That's how much the Democrats care about you, bro. So you can't go back and forth with me about, what Donald Trump is doing and what he's not doing. Listen, It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? And none of these Democrats are bringing nothing to the table. And I know I'm ranting, but I'm speaking facts. None of these Democrats are bringing nothing to the table. They bitch about everything Donald Trump is doing, but they don't give you no counter. It's no counter offers to nothing. There's no rebuttals. Nothing that makes sense. Nothing that's logical. Nothing. None of them. None of them. They said, oh, Donald Trump doesn't want to pass the extension on the Obamacare subsidies, right? Oh, but he doesn't. He keeps saying that he has a concept of a plan. They just dropped a new plan that benefits the American people, not these big insurance companies. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see. I see this, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm fucking with Trump. Fuck out of here. I don't care what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. If you fuck with the show, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you. Matter of fact, hit that subscribe button right now for me. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown.